What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new stream. Some brand new reactions, baby. Brand new video. If you're watching this as a replay, we got 3 videos for today. Yeah, only 3. 3 reactions, and then we're gonna go ahead and play some of the new Call of Duty Halloween game modes, which is Tapes of Terror and Slasher Deathmatch, which is a game mode where you're basically Chucky and you're running around chasing people, trying to get them. It's a knife only game mode, so we played that last stream. It was pretty interesting, so let's do it again for you guys, since seems to be like you guys enjoyed that video. But yeah, let me hold y'all no longer. Let's get straight into these reactions, because the faster we get into them, the faster we can play the Chucky game mode. Alright, y'all. So one of the videos that we got for today is 10 impossible inventions that were erased. It sounds pretty interesting, and I have been waiting really long to watch this with you guys, to react to it. I actually had this on my reaction playlist for about 2 weeks now, so let's get it right into it.
Generator. In 1899, Nikola Tesla developed a wireless...
I had heard about this, about him wanting to actually have free energy for everybody, and theory is that that's one of the reasons that, but hey, that's just a theory.
The Tesla free energy generator. In 1899, Nikola Tesla developed a wireless power transmission system that could provide unlimited free electricity to the entire world. His Wardenclyffe Tower project successfully demonstrated the technology, powering electrical devices across Long Island without any wires or fuel sources. Within 2 years...
Imagine that. Living somewhere where you got free power. Everywhere you go, you don't even have to pay for it. Hey. Obviously it's good for the people, but those companies that own the electricity will be erased.
The project was shut down. The tower was demolished, and all evidence of Tesla's breakthrough was systematically destroyed. Tesla's free energy system worked by tapping into what he called radiant energy, electromagnetic radiation that permeates...
Yo, what is going on with this video? Let me refresh it.
The Tesla free energy generator. In 1899...
Alright. Should be good now.
Radiant energy, electromagnetic radiation that permeates all space and can be converted into usable electricity.
So basically what he was trying to do is use the energy from the earth to have free energy.
Tower created a resonance effect with the Earth's natural electrical field, essentially turning the entire planet into a wireless power source that could supply unlimited energy to any receiver tuned to the correct frequency. Documented demonstrations showed Tesla's system powering entire neighborhoods on Long Island using nothing more than specialized receivers.
You see? He was already powering a whole city with that. Imagine if they did that in multiple cities, multiple states. Boom. Free energy everywhere you go, free power. Honestly, I think that's way better. Right? But it is not good for the companies. So that's why they don't do it, or they don't allow it to happen. Again, this is all just facts. It's already out there.
That collected energy from the air itself. Witnesses described light bulbs glowing without any...
This is all public information. I am not saying anything that isn't already out there.
Connection to power lines, electric motors running continuously without fuel, and heating systems operating indefinitely without any energy source. JP that collected energy from the air itself. Witnesses described light bulbs glowing without any connection to power lines, electric motors running.
Imagine that. What would you think if you seen a light bulb, like let's say holding it up, no connection or nothing, and it has power? You would think it's some fictional thing happening, something out of a movie.
Continuously without fuel, and heating systems operating indefinitely without any energy source. J.P. Morgan, who had financed the project, immediately withdrew funding when he realized that free energy would destroy the profit model of the electrical power industry.
See what I'm saying, you guys? That's the whole reason why it's not happening right now, because those companies would be out of business.
Morgan reportedly told Tesla, "If anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter?" The financial implications were staggering. Tesla's invention threatened to eliminate the need for power companies, coal mining, and oil consumption for electrical generation. Federal agents seized all of Tesla's research materials immediately after his death in 1943, classifying his free energy patents under national security orders that remain in effect today. The FBI confiscated over 80 trunks of Tesla's documents, including detailed blueprints for scaling up the wireless power system to global proportions. Independent researchers who attempted to replicate Tesla's free energy system have faced systematic persecution. In 19...
Wow. So anybody who has tried to replicate what he has done, dun, dun, dun. With a fast knocking, open up.
1957, engineer Lester Hendershot built a working
Imagine that. You just in a garage doing your own thing. Someone finds out you're doing that, and now they're after you. Crazy.
In 1957, engineer Lester Hendershot built a working reproduction of Tesla's radiant energy collector and demonstrated it to military officials. Within weeks, Hendershot's laboratory was raided by federal agents. His device was confiscated, and he was warned never to discuss his work again. The suppression continues today. Patent applications for free energy devices are immediately classified under the Inventions Secrecy Act, preventing inventors from developing or discussing their technology.
Wow. So even if they do find a way to actually replicate it or do it, they get rid of the information so no one else finds out how to do it.
Patent applications for...
And they also make sure that it doesn't get out there by, like they said, putting it under that classification.
Free energy devices are immediately classified under the Inventions Secrecy Act, preventing inventors from developing or discussing their technologies publicly.
They basically get blackballed.
Over 5,000 patents remain classified under secrecy orders, many involving energy generation systems that would eliminate dependence on fossil fuels. Tesla's free energy system represented more than a technological breakthrough. It was a threat to the fundamental economic structure of modern civilization. Unlimited free power would have eliminated energy scarcity, reduced industrial costs to nearly zero.
Y'all see the symbol? The T for Tesla? Wow.
Power would have eliminated energy scarcity, reduced industrial costs to nearly zero, and fundamentally altered the balance of global economic power. The technology that could have freed humanity from energy dependence was deliberately erased to protect the interests of industries built on artificial scarcity.
All for money.
Tesla's vision of abundant free energy for all humanity was sacrificed to preserve the profit margins of companies that control the world's power supply. The Rife Cancer Cure Machine. In the 1930s, Dr.
Wow.
The Rife Cancer Cure Machine. In the 1930s, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife invented a microscope so powerful it could observe living viruses and bacteria in real time. and discovered that specific electromagnetic frequencies could destroy cancer cells without harming healthy tissue. His frequency therapy successfully cured cancer in clinical trials.
What? Damn. So y'all see what it's trying to tell you, that you can become healthy just by interacting with certain frequencies or listening to certain frequencies. Again, hey, don't take this as advice or be like, oh, he told me this, I'm not gonna go ahead and check myself. No. First, go to the doctor, whatever, and then try it. If you don't like what they're telling you, or if you think that what they're telling you is not, correlating to you, to your situation, then go ahead and try that.
With 100.
Because that's essentially what chemo is. Just using radiation or like frequencies to fight the cancer.
% success rates before being systematically suppressed by the medical establishment that profited from expensive, ineffective treatments. Rife's universal microscope achieved magnifications of over 60,000 times using a revolutionary optical system that made living microorganisms visible without killing them. Using this technology, he identified the specific electromagnetic signature of cancer-causing viruses and developed frequency generators that could destroy these pathogens selectively. The Rife frequency therapy worked by bombarding cancer cells with precise electromagnetic pulses that match their natural resonant frequency.
It will basically alter the cells to where the cancer doesn't exist anymore, or it's eliminated from the cells, from the body. Wow, that's a badass invention. But that's what I'm saying here. That's what they're doing right now with chemo. Is basically just that, using radiation and different frequencies to fight the cancer cells. But I don't think it will be as effective as this, because sometimes you don't know what type of radiation, what type of frequencies they're using on you. What if they're using another one that, instead of making your cancer cure, it makes it worse? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen cases where chemo does make patients worse, which it doesn't make sense, since it should be the solution for it.
Like an opera singer shattering a wine glass with the right note, Rife's machine could destroy malignant cells by hitting them with their exact vibrational frequency while leaving healthy cells completely unaffected. Clinical trials conducted in 1934 at the University of Southern California showed remarkable results. 16 terminal cancer patients were treated with Rife's frequency therapy, and within 70 days, 14 were completely cured. The remaining 2 patients recovered fully after their treatment protocols.
Wait, how many?
Were treated with Rife's frequency therapy, and within 70 days, 4.
Wow. Like 2 months. That is fast.
14 were completely cured. The remaining 2 patients recovered fully after their treatment protocols were adjusted, achieving a 100.
Basically mean, if they didn't get cured right away, it was because they just had to find that perfect frequency to fight their cells.
% cure rate for terminal cancer cases. Dr. Milbank Johnson, who directed the clinical trials, prepared to announce the revolutionary cancer cure to the medical world. But before the results could be published, Johnson died suddenly of mysterious.
Yeah, see the pattern, bro? This has been going on for centuries, for years. Because this still happens till this day.
Circumstances, and all documentation of the cancer cure trials vanished from university records. The American Medical Association, led by Morris Fishbein, immediately launched a campaign to discredit Rife's work.
Bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, doesn't that make it more suspicious? Like, if you think what he is doing is totally false, why even take the time to try to discredit him?
Medical journals refused to publish papers on frequency therapy. Researchers who supported Rife's work lost their funding, and doctors who used the Rife machines were threatened with loss of their medical licenses. In 1939,
See what I'm talking about? Like, they're basically making them either work under their rules, or if they try to step out of line, like he said, we take your license, or we take you out, but we will find a way for you to not successfully achieve that.
agents working for pharmaceutical interests broke into Rife's laboratory and destroyed his research materials, including irreplaceable components of his universal microscope. The remaining Rife machines were systematically tracked down and destroyed, and technicians who had built the devices were intimidated into silence. The suppression was economic as well as scientific. Cancer treatment had become a billion-dollar industry by the 1940s, generating enormous profits for pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, and medical equipment manufacturers.
Of course, man. Because if these people are still sick, they can make money off of them. Otherwise, no one's sick, there's no money.
Rife's simple, inexpensive cure threatened to eliminate the entire cancer treatment industry overnight. Several researchers who attempted to replicate Rife's work died under suspicious circumstances. Dr. Nemes, who had reproduced the frequency therapy results, was found dead in his laboratory under conditions that investigators deemed mysterious but not suspicious.
Of course. Of course. They deemed it anything but suspicious.
Dr. Koch, another Rife supporter, died suddenly just before testifying about the cancer cure's effectiveness. Rife spent his final years fighting legal battles and patent disputes, impoverished and broken by the systematic destruction of his life's work. The technology that could have saved millions of lives was erased to protect the profits of an industry that benefits from treating disease rather than curing it.
Because if they cure you, again, like I said, you're not coming back. So they're giving you just enough so that you feel good, but you still keep coming back and back to get treated.
The Brown anti-gravity device. In 1928, physicist Thomas Townsend Brown discovered that electrically charged objects experience a force that appears to defy gravity, leading to the development of anti-gravity technology that could revolutionize transportation.
What was it called? The Brown anti-gravity device.
Leading to the development of anti-gravity technology that could revolutionize.
So basically they're saying that they already found a way to make things fly. What?
Transportation and space travel. His electrogravitics research successfully demonstrated controlled flight using electrical fields alone, before being classified and hidden under national security restrictions that persist today. Brown.
That's what I'm saying. All these videos where they see like UFOs and stuff like that, I feel like it's just technology we are not yet used to, or we have not seen as the public, you know? What I'm trying to say is those are things like right there that they already know about, that they already are experimenting with, but we just don't know that they exist. Like, I'm pretty sure they still have that technology. They still have flying, whatever they are, UFOs, you know? They could easily make a flying car, because it's just more simpler, I would say. Imagine a car flying compared to what we used to call a UFO, or what we are used to being calling a UFO. I feel like a car is way lighter. I don't know, just in every aspect it's way easier to make it levitate, fly, whatever. They just I haven't put it out to the public yet.
Brown's breakthrough came from observing
Like all these videos we see, that's them testing their products, their technology out.
that capacitors,
And somehow, some way, some people just catch them. Boom. They get the chance to see it. And that's why we think aliens, this and that. But bro, it's just them experimenting with different things that we have not yet seen.
devices that store electrical charge, experience a net force when charged with high voltage. The capacitors would move toward their positive electrode, creating thrust without any propellant or moving parts. This Biefeld-Brown effect suggested that electricity and gravity were connected in ways that contradicted Einstein's general relativity.
Bro, that fan was hitting on my back. It's getting chilly.
Without any propellant or moving parts. This Biefeld-Brown effect suggested that electricity and gravity were connected in ways that contradicted Einstein's general relativity.
Wow. Gravity and electricity working together. Makes sense in a way, because gravity is just something that we cannot see, but it's still there. Meaning, the same with electricity. Electricity is everywhere, but we cannot see it until like we see those rays or whatever, like a lightning. But while it's working, sometimes we cannot see it. Like when we're watching TV, that's electricity right there being used, but we cannot see it working. Same thing with gravity. That's what I'm saying. It makes sense that electricity and gravity will work together.
In 1952, Brown demonstrated his anti-gravity technology to military officials using disc-shaped capacitors.
And imagine the electricity's power combined with the gravity. That's how they made it happen.
That could fly around a circular course under their own power. The devices achieved speeds of several hundred miles per hour using only electrical energy, with no jets, propellers, or reaction mass of any kind. The implications were staggering. Brown's electrogravitics could enable spacecraft that didn't require fuel, aircraft that could hover indefinitely using only battery power, and transportation systems.
It didn't even need fuel. Basically, all it needed was that electricity and the gravity. I feel like what's going on is like, since gravity tries to pull you down, they made it something to where the electricity acts as a repellent. Like, have you ever tried to put two magnets together but on the opposite side? It's like they repel each other, like boom. That's what I think it happened with that. They made it to where the electricity from whatever object they're using bounces off the gravity and makes it float, levitate.
No jets, propellers, or reaction mass of any kind. The implications were staggering. Brown's electrogravitics could enable spacecraft that didn't require fuel, aircraft that could hover indefinitely using only battery power, and transportation systems that operated silently and without environmental impact. The technology promised to revolutionize every aspect of human mobility and space exploration. Classified military research into electrogravitics began immediately, with projects codenamed Winter Haven and Project Y receiving substantial funding from the Air Force and Navy. Brown.
Wow. What this sounds like. I know you guys are thinking the same thing as me. It sounds like Area 51.
Was recruited to develop military applications of anti-gravity technology, including disc-shaped aircraft that could outperform any conventional fighter plane. By 19...
Okay, now I see why they would make it look like that or shaped like that instead of a car, because of all the aerodynamics, like it will be easier for it to flow around in the air.
1955, Brown had developed electrogravitics devices that could lift their own power supplies and achieve sustained flight. Classified demonstrations showed disc-shaped craft powered by high-voltage generators achieving remarkable performance characteristics that conventional aircraft couldn't match. The research was suddenly classified in 1956 under national security orders that made public discussion of electrogravitics illegal. Brown's patents were seized, his research facilities were closed.
Oh my god. Why do they do this? I mean, in a way I see why, because if they put that to the public, not everybody's ready for it, you know? Not everybody's ready for that type of power.
Closed, and all documentation of anti-gravity technology was removed from public access. The official explanation was that the research had failed to produce practical results. Independent investigators discovered that major aerospace companies had secretly incorporated electrogravitics research into advanced aircraft programs. Aviation Week magazine reported in 1956 that several aircraft manufacturers were developing flame jet engines and electrogravitic propulsion systems for next-generation military aircraft. The suppression of Brown's anti-gravity technology appears to have been motivated by strategic military considerations rather than scientific validity. If electrogravitics could enable revolutionary aircraft capabilities, controlling the technology would provide decisive military advantages to nations that possessed it. Brown died in 1985, still prohibited from discussing his breakthrough discovery that electricity could overcome gravity. His anti-gravity technology remains classified, hidden within government laboratories, where it may have contributed to advanced aircraft programs that officially don't exist. The Keeley Motor Mystery.
Out of these three that we watched so far, I think the craziest one is well, I mean, all of them are good, but I'll say the cancer one. Like, bro, that would literally help so many people out. But hey, man, that's how it is. Profit is everything.
In
1872,
inventor John Worrell. Keeley developed a motor that ran on what he called sympathetic vibration, extracting unlimited energy from sound waves and molecular resonance. His demonstrations powered heavy machinery using nothing more than musical tones and harmonic frequencies, before the technology was suppressed by
Wait, they could power things with sound?
What he called sympathetic vibration, extracting unlimited energy from sound waves and molecular resonance. His demonstrations powered heavy machinery using nothing more than musical tones and harmonic frequency.
Bro, imagine that. Not having to use power, but instead playing music and making the things work with music. That's fire.
Before the technology was
music power technology.
Suppressed by investors who realized it would destroy the industrial economy. Keeley's motor worked by harnessing what he termed etheric force, the vibrational energy that he claimed existed within all matter. By creating specific acoustic frequencies, his device could tap into this molecular motion and convert it into mechanical work, essentially creating a perpetual motion machine that violated the laws of thermodynamics. Public demonstrations in Philadelphia showed Keeley's motor lifting enormous weights, powering industrial equipment, and running continuously for hours using only sound waves generated by tuning forks in acoustic devices. The motor appeared to extract limitless energy from the air itself, requiring no fuel, electricity, or external power source. Scientists and investors who witnessed the demonstrations confirmed that Keeley's machine produced far more energy than any known power source could provide. The device generated thousands of horsepower, using only vibrations that Keeley created with simple
What? Man, that thing must have been powerful.
Musical instruments and acoustic resonators. The Keeley Motor Company was formed in 1874, with funding from wealthy investors who recognized the revolutionary implications of unlimited free energy. But as development progressed, investors realized that Keeley's technology would make existing industrial infrastructure obsolete. destroying fortunes built on coal, steam, and mechanical power. Systematic sabotage of Keely's work began in 1881 when investors demanded that he reveal the secret of his vibrational energy source. When Keely refused to disclose the complete principles behind his motor, funding was withdrawn and legal action was taken to seize his equipment and research materials. After Keely's death in 1898, investigators who examined his laboratory claimed to find evidence of fraud, including hidden compressed air systems that they alleged had powered his demonstrations. However, these debunking efforts were funded by the same investors who had withdrawn.
Oh my god. Again, same pattern. They try to stop him after the project's already about to make a big boom and go out in public, and then that's whenever they take away the funds, and then they come after you, and then they try to discredit you and all of your work and everything that you've done. They try to make you look crazy, try to make it look like you're a fraud, but deep down it's because they know that if people find out the truth, it's gonna change their lives forever. And not just their lives, but everyone's. Basically, the whole world would be a whole different place if these inventions were actually released.
On support from his research and had financial interests in suppressing the technology. Independent analysis of Keely's work suggests that his vibrational motors operated on principles of acoustic resonance and molecular harmonic frequency that wouldn't be understood by mainstream science until the development of quantum mechanics decades later. His etheric force appears to describe zero-point energy extraction through harmonic manipulation. Molecular harmonic frequency that wouldn't be understood by mainstream science until the development of quantum mechanics decades later. His etheric force appears to describe zero-point energy extraction through harmonic manipulation. Modern researchers have successfully replicated aspects of Keely's vibrational energy systems, achieving limited success with acoustic motors that generate more power than their input energy should theoretically allow. These experiments suggest that Keely may have discovered legitimate principles of energy extraction from molecular vibration.
Damn. So he was pulling energy from the universe.
The Keely motor represented technology that could have eliminated humanity's dependence on fossil fuels and centralized power generation over a century ago. Its suppression and subsequent debunking protected industrial interests that profited from energy scarcity and prevented the development of truly sustainable technology. The Hutchison effect apparatus. In 1979, Canadian inventor John Hutchison accidentally discovered that specific combinations of electromagnetic fields could cause objects to levitate, transmute elements, and defy the laws of physics in ways that mainstream science insists are impossible. His Hutchison effect demonstrations were witnessed by military officials and scientists before his equipment was confiscated and his research was classified under specific combinations of electromagnetic fields. Hutchison accidentally discovered that specific combinations of electromagnetic fields could cause objects to levitate, transmute elements, and defy the laws of physics in ways that mainstream science insists are impossible. His Hutchison effect demonstrations were witnessed by military officials and scientists.
He could basically, like the other invention, make things levitate, but except he's not using electricity.
Scientists before his equipment was confiscated and his research was classified under
That's the only difference.
Elements and defy the laws of physics in ways that mainstream science insists are impossible. His Hutchison effect demonstrations were witnessed by military officials and scientists before his equipment was confiscated and his research was classified under national security restrictions. The Hutchison effect occurred when multiple electromagnetic generators, Tesla coils, Van de Graaff generators, and RF signal generators, were operated simultaneously in Hutchison's laboratory. The intersecting electromagnetic fields created zones.
So he was using different things to create that that power to be used to be. How can I explain? So I guess he was using like different methods of creating that energy so that he could use it to put it into a certain object.
The Hutchison effect occurred when multiple RF signal generators, Tesla coils, Van de Graaff generators, and RF signal generators were operated simultaneously in Hutchison's laboratory. The intersecting electromagnetic fields created zones where normal physics ceased to function, causing metal objects to spontaneously levitate, fuse together, or transform into different materials. Video documentation shows aluminum bars bending like rubber, pieces of metal lifting off tables and floating in midair, and dissimilar materials fusing together at the molecular level without heat or pressure. Objects placed in the electromagnetic field zones exhibited behavior that violated conservation of energy, mass, and momentum. Military officials from the United States and Canadian governments observed Hutchison's demonstrations and confirmed that the effects were genuine. Colonel John Alexander from the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command witnessed materials levitating and transmuting, reporting that the phenomena couldn't be explained by any known scientific principles. The most remarkable aspect of the Hutchison effect was its ability to alter matter at the atomic level. Steel bars would partially transmute in.
Damn, that's the difference between this one and the other one. Like I said, the other guy was using electricity to make things levitate, and he was using electricity or like sources of electricity to alter the state of the object. Like he said, it could be a steel bar and he could just bend it with electricity, which is fucking crazy to think about, because they could easily have that out right now, but we don't even know.
Into aluminum. Wood would fuse with metal, and objects would spontaneously change their molecular composition in ways that seemed to violate the fundamental laws of chemistry and nuclear physics. In 1990, Hutchison's laboratory equipment was confiscated by Canadian authorities acting on behalf of international military interests. His electromagnetic generators, documentation, and experimental materials were seized and classified under national security orders that prohibited him from discussing or replicating his work. Attempts to reproduce the Hutchison effect by government laboratories have reportedly been successful, but remain classified. Internal documents suggest.
So, like I said, it is definitely something that they are still able to do. They just don't show it to the public.
That military researchers have incorporated Hutchison's discoveries into advanced weapons programs that can manipulate matter and gravity using electromagnetic field interactions. The suppression of Hutchison's work appears motivated by the revolutionary implications of field effect matter manipulation. If electromagnetic fields can cause levitation, transmutation, and defiance of physical laws, the technology could revolutionize manufacturing, transportation, and materials science while making conventional military hardware. And defiance of physical law. Implications of field effect matter manipulation. If electromagnetic fields can cause levitation, transmutation, and defiance of physical laws, the technology could revolutionize manufacturing, transportation, and materials science while making conventional military hardware obsolete. Hutchison has continued his research in secret, despite government harassment and the confiscation of his equipment. He claims to have developed portable devices that can create localized zones of altered physics, but demonstration of these technologies has been prohibited by national security restrictions. The Hutchison effect.
Is he trying to say that he figured a way to change physical reality? Wow.
Represents discovery of field interactions that could transform human understanding of matter, energy, and the fundamental structure of reality. Its systematic suppression suggests that powerful interests prefer to keep this knowledge restricted rather than allow its development for civilian applications. The Reich Orgone Accumulator. In the 1940s, psychiatrist Wilhelm Reich developed devices that could accumulate and concentrate what he called orgone energy, a universal life force that could treat diseases, control weather, and power motors without fuel. His organ technology successfully demonstrated healing effects and weather modification before Reich was imprisoned, and his research was systematically destroyed.
Oh my god, again. These people either passed away randomly, got blackballed from their industry, or got thrown in jail
By federal authorities. Reich discovered orgone energy while studying the relationship between psychological health and biological energy. He found that living organisms naturally accumulate and radiate a form of energy that could be concentrated using alternating layers of organic and metallic materials arranged in specific geometric patterns. The orgone accumulator consisted of a box-like structure with walls made from alternating layers of steel wool and organic materials like cotton or wood chips. This configuration created what Reich called an orgone field that could be used to treat illness, accelerate healing, and restore biological vitality.
Wait, y'all lost me right there.
Of steel wool and organic materials like cotton or wood chips. This configuration created what Reich called an orgone field that could be used to treat illness, accelerate healing, and restore biological vitality to living organisms. Medical testing showed that patients treated in orgone accumulators experienced significant improvements in conditions including cancer, arthritis, and chronic fatigue. Temperature measurements confirmed that the devices generated measurable heat without any power source,
Which I think is the closest thing that we have to that. Or which I think that type of thing is.
They were actually concentrating some
Orgone.
form of environmental energy. Reich's weather modification experiments used large-scale organ devices called cloudbusters that could disperse clouds, create rainfall, and control atmospheric.
What the fuck? So that thing is possible. Wow. See what I'm telling you? Like, they could literally be causing tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquakes, and all this with technology we don't even know exists.
Conditions by manipulating orgone energy flows in the atmosphere. Documented demonstrations showed successful weather control over large geographical areas using only mechanical orgone manipulation devices. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration began investigating Reich's work in 1947, claiming that orgone energy didn't exist and that his medical claims were fraudulent. Despite extensive documentation and witness testimony supporting Reich's discoveries, federal authorities obtained court injunctions prohibiting the distribution of orgone devices. In 1956, federal agents raided Reich's laboratory and destroyed his research materials, including books, papers, and orgone accumulators. The systematic destruction was so thorough that agents even burned Reich's scientific journals and personal correspondence, eliminating decades of research into bioenergy effects. Reich was imprisoned in 1957 on charges of contempt of court for continuing his organ research in violation of federal injunctions.
Bruh, what the fuck? Another one that was thrown in jail.
He died in federal prison 8 months later under circumstances that his supporters considered suspicious, effectively ending all legitimate research into orgone.
They definitely took him out. They had to. They were like, if he even has a chance to get out of prison, we need to erase that chance.
Energy
Get rid of it.
phenomena. Independent researchers who have attempted to replicate Reich's orgone accumulator have reported similar biological effects, including temperature anomalies, enhanced plant growth, and measurable healing acceleration. These results suggest that Reich may have discovered legitimate bioenergy principles that mainstream science refuses to acknowledge. The suppression of Reich's orgone technology appears to have been motivated by its implications for medical treatment and energy generation. If organ accumulators could treat diseases and concentrate environmental energy, they threatened pharmaceutical profits and conventional power generation industries. The Coral Castle Magnetic Levitation System. Between 1923 and 1951, Edward Leeds Calnan single-handedly built Coral Castle in Florida using massive coral blocks, weighing up to 30 tons each. Working alone at night with only primitive tools, Leeds Calnan demonstrated an unknown method of moving enormous stone blocks that appears to have involved...
Does it sound similar? Let's go back so you guys can hear this again.
Between 1923 and 1951, Edward Leeds Calnan single-handedly built Coral Castle in Florida using massive coral blocks, weighing up to 30 tons each. Working alone at night with only primitive tools, Leeds Calnan demonstrated an unknown method of moving enormous stone blocks that appears to have involved magnetic levitation technology. After his death, all evidence of his construction...
What does that sound like to you guys? I'm gonna give you 2 seconds to think about that. Alright, 1, 2. Alright, now let me tell you. Yes, you are right. That literally sounds like the pyramids. Cause who else would have done that? You know, like how else? If they didn't possess that type of knowledge or technology to do so.
Methods was systematically removed.
Mind you, this is in the 1900s. I know that they definitely had that back then. Maybe not the same way that they invented it, but they had a different way that it was made, but still gave the same results.
And classified. Leeds Calnan claimed to understand the secrets of pyramid construction and anti-gravity, stating that he had discovered how the ancient Egyptians moved massive...
See what I just said?
...stone blocks using magnetic forces rather than mechanical advantage. He built his coral...
Even though it was way back then, they still used that same technology.
After his death, all evidence of his construction methods was systematically removed and classified. Leeds Calnan claimed to understand the secrets of pyramid construction and anti-gravity, stating that he had discovered how the ancient Egyptians moved massive stone blocks using magnetic forces rather than mechanical advantage. He built his coral castle as a demonstration of these lost construction techniques. Witnesses occasionally observed Leeds Calnan working at night and reported seeing him moving massive coral blocks as if they weighed nothing. The blocks would reportedly float through the air and position themselves precisely where Leeds Calnan directed them, suggesting some form of magnetic or gravitational manipulation. The engineering required to move 30-ton blocks using conventional methods would require heavy machinery that Leeds Calnan didn't possess. His primitive tools, pulleys, chains, and hand-built tripods, couldn't generate the forces needed to lift and position stones.
Of course. Of course not. It is something even more incredible and crazier that we do not know about.
Weighing tens of thousands of pounds with the precision shown at Coral Castle. Leeds Calnan's workshop contained unusual electrical equipment, including homemade generators, electromagnetic coils, and devices that he claimed could see magnetic currents. He spoke frequently about understanding magnetic current and the relationship between magnetism and gravity that mainstream science ignored. After Leeds Calnan's death in 1951, government investigators immediately sealed his workshop and confiscated all of his equipment and research notes. The devices he used for stone construction were removed and classified.
At this point, it is not even that they're trying to hide it no more. They're just repeating the same pattern over and over. You do this, that is threatening our business, and you're taken out or you're thrown in jail. or you mysteriously get sick, or we just make it to where no one hears about you again.
And all documentation of his magnetic levitation methods was eliminated from public access. Analysis of the coral blocks at Coral Castle reveals cut marks and shaping that couldn't have been achieved with primitive hand tools. The precision of the stone cutting and the complexity of the mechanical joints suggest the use of advanced tools that Leeds-Kalnin officially didn't possess. The positioning accuracy of the massive blocks exceeds what would be possible using conventional construction methods. Some stones are balanced so precisely on single points that they can be moved by hand pressure despite weighing tons, indicating understanding of leverage and balance that approaches perfection. Modern attempts to move similar coral blocks using conventional construction equipment have required multiple cranes and teams of workers. The fact that Leeds-Kalnin accomplished the same work alone using primitive tools suggests he had access to construction principles that remain unknown to conventional engineering. The systematic removal of Leeds-Kalnin's construction equipment and research materials suggests that his magnetic levitation technology was too advanced to remain in public hands. The methods he used to move massive stones may have demonstrated anti-gravity principles that government agencies preferred to keep classified. The Searle effect generator. In the 1960s,
Bro, what the fuck, man? Imagine if all of these things were out right now. We would have free energy. We would have a way to cure cancer. We would have levitating cars for sure. We would have a way to modify matter physically, which is electromagnetic frequencies. And this past one
was too advanced to remain in public hands.
basically it would be so powerful that we could create a whole new society, a whole new way of living. But this is what they're doing, keeping us controlled.
The methods he used to move massive stones may have demonstrated anti-gravity principles that government agencies preferred to keep classified. The Searle effect generator. In the 1960s, British electrical engineer John Searle developed a magnetic generator that produced unlimited free energy while demonstrating anti-gravity effects that allowed it to lift off the ground and fly. His Searle effect generator, SEG, successfully powered entire buildings using magnetic field interactions alone, before the technology was suppressed by authorities and Searle's research facilities were destroyed. The SEG consisted of magnetic rollers that orbited around magnetized rings in specific geometric patterns. As the rollers moved around the rings, they generated electrical current through magnetic induction, while simultaneously creating anti-gravity.
Here's another person who tried to make free energy, but instead of, like they said in the first one, pulling the energy from the source, he is making it by having other objects spin so fast to where it causes the energy to be created.
The effects that reduce the device's apparent weight to zero. Demonstrations showed SEG devices producing kilowatts of electrical power without any input energy source, while simultaneously levitating and flying through the air under their own power.
Wow. See what I'm telling you guys? They definitely are using the technology nowadays. That's why we see so many videos of UFOs. It is just them doing this.
Devices producing kilowatts of electrical power without any input energy source, while simultaneously levitating and flying through the air under the...
They were here having the time of their life testing the technology, and we're like, oh my god, aliens.
Their own power. The generators appeared to extract unlimited energy from magnetic field interactions that somehow didn't violate conservation of energy laws. Witnesses described seeing Searle's generators floating above their mounting platforms while powering electrical loads that should have required substantial input power. The devices generated electricity continuously without fuel, mechanical input, or any apparent energy source other than the magnetic interactions of their rotating components. The SEG technology combined free energy generation with anti-gravity propulsion in a single device that could theoretically power spacecraft indefinitely.
What the hell? Not only was this person able to power different certain things, but he was also able to power different certain things. He was able to power certain things. He was also able to power rockets and spaceships and crazy things that you think, oh, how did he do it? Without no fuel, without no this, without that. But we're thinking based off what we know right now.
Devices generated electricity continuously without.
See what I'm saying? It did not need no fuel or any source of power other than its own
Fuel, mechanical input, or any apparent energy source other than the magnetic interactions of their rotating components. The SEG technology.
That is literally like the most independent way of creating energy.
Technology combined free energy generation with anti-gravity propulsion in a single device that could theoretically power spacecraft indefinitely while providing their own lift and propulsion. The implications for space travel and energy generation were revolutionary, offering unlimited power and transportation capabilities. In 1968, British authorities raided Searle's laboratory and confiscated his equipment, claiming that his generators were creating electrical interference with aircraft navigation systems.
Bullshit. Bullshit. They just wanted to get rid of that invention before it got out of hand.
All SEG devices were destroyed, and Searle was prohibited from continuing his research under threat of imprisonment for violating electronic emissions regulations. Searle spent several years in prison on charges related to electrical code violations and generator operation without proper permits. During his incarceration, all of his research materials were confiscated and destroyed, eliminating decades of work on magnetic field energy extraction and anti-gravity technology. Attempts to replicate Searle's work have been systematically suppressed through patent interference, legal challenges, and denial of research funding. Scientists who have achieved partial success with SEG-type generators have faced harassment, equipment confiscation, and legal action that prevented further development. The suppression of Searle's technology appears motivated by its implications for energy independence and space propulsion. If magnetic generators could provide unlimited power while enabling anti-gravity flight, they would revolutionize transportation and eliminate dependence on fossil fuels and conventional electrical generation. Searle continues to work on SEG development despite decades of suppression, claiming that his magnetic generators represent a new form of physics based on magnetic field interactions that mainstream science refuses to acknowledge. His technology.
Not for no reason they don't acknowledge it. Think a little bit and you'll see why.
Technology remains classified and restricted from public development. The Schauberger implosion engine. In the 1940s, Austrian inventor Victor Schauberger developed revolutionary engines that generated power through implosion rather than explosion, creating vortex effects that could produce.
So this is different. This is powered by water, which, if you guys did not know, I don't know if it's true, but I read somewhere that ChatGPT uses water as a source of power. Hey man, don't quote me on this, but if it is, that's literally proven that this is still being used nowadays.
Produce unlimited energy while simultaneously purifying air and water. His implosion technology demonstrated efficiency levels impossible with conventional engines, before being confiscated by Allied forces and classified for military applications. Schauberger's implosion engines worked by creating spiral vortex patterns in air and water that concentrated energy inward rather than dispersing it outward like conventional explosion engines. The vortex implosion process generated tremendous power, while actually cooling the engine and producing pure, energized air and water as byproducts. The repulsine implosion engine achieved remarkable performance characteristics, generating substantial horsepower while consuming minimal fuel and producing no harmful emissions.
Okay, so this one still used some fuel, but again, like I was saying, it was creating so much horsepower for the little bit of fuel that it was being used.
The engine operated almost silently and became more efficient as it ran longer, apparently extracting additional energy from the vortex implosion process itself. German military forces took interest in Schauberger's technology during World War II, commissioning him to develop implosion engines for advanced aircraft applications. His work contributed to disc-shaped aircraft prototypes that achieved flight characteristics impossible with conventional propulsion systems. After the war ended, American intelligence forces captured Schauberger and seized all of his research materials, including prototypes, blueprints, and documentation of implosion engine principles. He was interrogated extensively about his vortex technology before being released with warnings never to continue his research. Schauberger's implosion engines demonstrated energy efficiency levels that violated conventional thermodynamic principles. The devices appeared to extract more energy from fuel than combustion chemistry should allow, suggesting they were tapping into additional energy sources through vortex manipulation of air and water molecules. The environmental benefits of implosion technology were revolutionary. Schauberger's engines produced purified air and water as exhaust products, actually improving environmental conditions while generating power. Air and water molecules. The environmental benefits of implosion technology were revolutionary. Schauberger's engines produced purified air and water as exhaust products, actually improving environmental conditions while generating power.
So in a way, he was also helping the environment with this invention.
The technology offered pollution-free energy generation that could reverse
that's the key word right there, pollution-free.
Reverse environmental damage while providing unlimited.
Something that today's ways cause. You see that on the left? Boom. Machinery and all this being operated by coal, gas, oil. It only throws all that residue or what's being used out in the environment compared to that invention, which actually helped it. And why do they do that? Because, bro, the environment, if it's bad, if it's already polluting it, it's gonna cause more sickness, it's gonna cause more things that they can't repair, basically. Again, all about profit, man.
Limited clean power.
They don't really care about this world and the well-being of the environment. Like all this electric cars, electric that. It is not for that. It is for more control. Cause think about it. Right now you're happy with your self-driving car, right? But what if later in the future and they decide, okay, I'm gonna use that same feature that they like to our advantage.
1958, American businessmen
Like, for example, they say someone's running away from the police or something, then they could literally make it lock the person inside and drive him straight to the police station.
convinced Schauberger to come to the United States to develop his implosion technology for commercial applications. However, after arriving, he was forced to sign contracts that gave complete control of his inventions to American corporations, while prohibiting him from continuing independent research. Schauberger died in 1958, shortly after returning to Austria, reportedly broken
Oh my god, what a surprise.
by the suppression of his life's work.
Yeah.
All of his implosion engine technology was classified and
At this point, like I said, we see the pattern. It is no surprise.
moved from public access, preventing the development of clean energy systems that could have eliminated environmental pollution from power generation. Modern researchers who have attempted to replicate Schauberger's vortex implosion principles have achieved limited success, but face systematic suppression through patent denial, funding restrictions, and legal challenges that prevent the commercial development of implosion-based energy systems. The Philadelphia Experiment Teleportation Device. In 1943, the U.S. Navy
What? That might be the like best invention right now so far. What the fuck? I was gonna say that thing is fantastic. Imagine having that right now. Wow.
The experiment.
If it is on thinking, it is something dangerous to experiment with. Because time traveling is nothing to play with.
Teleportation device. In 1943,
well, it's not time traveling right there. It's teleportation. Same thing. What if you get stuck wherever you go?
The U.S. Navy conducted a classified experiment that successfully
or if you're not able to find your way back.
Teleported the destroyer USS Eldridge from Philadelphia to Norfolk using an experimental electromagnetic field generator. The Philadelphia experiment demonstrated matter transmission and invisibility technology that was immediately classified and hidden because it proved that physical reality could be manipulated through electromagnetic field control. The experiment was based on Einstein's unified field theory, which suggested that
wow. They just switched the electromagnetic frequency to be able to go from this spot to this spot.
Electromagnetic
or to manipulate the reality however they want.
And
essentially it's the same thing I just said.
Gravitational fields could be manipulated to alter space-time around physical objects. By generating powerful electromagnetic fields around the ship, researchers hope to achieve radar invisibility, but instead achieve something far more extraordinary.
What? You mean to tell me they weren't even trying to make this happen and they just accidentally happened? This is probably the craziest way to make this an invention.
Powerful electromagnetic fields around the ship. Researchers hope
they're trying to hide their I guess their ping, like so that they could not be traced on radars and stuff like that, and instead they created a teleportation invention
to achieve radar invisibility, but instead achieve something far more extraordinary. On October 28, 1943, massive electromagnetic generators created a field around USS Eldridge that caused the ship to vanish completely from the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Witnesses reported seeing the ship disappear in a flash of blue-green light, leaving only an indentation in the water where it had been moored. The ship reappeared minutes later at the Norfolk Naval Station in Virginia, over 200 miles away.
It basically said, now we just in the other spot.
Having apparently traveled instantaneously through what could only be described as teleportation. Radar operators at Norfolk confirmed the ship's sudden appearance before it vanished again and returned to Philadelphia. The crew of USS Eldridge experienced severe psychological and physical effects from the teleportation.
I mean, that's what I'm telling you guys. No wonder it's not out in the public or letting us know. Like, no wonder they are not letting us know that this is something that exists, because if we even try to do it, even try to attempt to do it, there's a lot of things that we don't know about it that can bring consequence or that can cause change in people. Like right there, they're basically saying that if it messed them up mentally and changed their whole personality, their whole person, from just experiencing that teleportation
process. Some sailors were found fused partially into the ship's metal structure. Others became invisible and couldn't turn the effect off, and many suffered from temporal displacement that left them existing partially outside normal time flow. Dr. Morris Jessup, who investigated the experiment, received detailed accounts from sailors who described the horrifying effects of electromagnetic field exposure on human consciousness. The technology had succeeded in manipulating physical reality, but at costs that made it too dangerous for practical application. The Navy immediately classified all records of the Philadelphia experiment and denied that any such research had occurred. Witnesses were transferred to different assignments, sworn to secrecy, and threatened with court-martial if they discussed what they had observed. The teleportation technology demonstrated that physical matter could be transmitted instantaneously across vast distances using electromagnetic...
Bro, what? See what I'm saying? And this is in the 1900s, y'all. This is about a century ago.
Magnetic field manipulation. The implications for transportation, communication, and military applications were revolutionary, offering capabilities that would fundamentally transform human civilization. Independent researchers who investigated the Philadelphia experiment found evidence that the technology was based on principles of dimensional manipulation that allowed objects to travel through parallel space-time dimensions rather than conventional three-dimensional space. This suggested that reality dimensions manipulation that allowed objects to travel through parallel space-time dimensions rather than conventional three-dimensional space. This suggested that reality itself could be edited using electromagnetic field control. The systematic suppression of teleportation technology appears motivated by its implications for military and economic control.
Let's go back. I'm trying to get this thing.
Were revolutionary, offering capabilities that would fundamentally
I'm trying to actually like capture all that.
fundamentally transform human civilization. Independent researchers who investigated the Philadelphia experiment found evidence that the technology was based on principles of dimensional manipulation
Okay.
that allowed objects to travel through parallel space-time dimensions.
Okay. So basically it's saying it's not literally traveling physically, you know, because that's 3D physical reality. It's more about traveling through the other dimensions. Wow.
Rather than conventional three-dimensional space. This suggested that
Like 4D, 5D, that's your other dimensions, you know, like 4D. How many dimensions you guys think it had to go through, or through what it had to go through to get to the point where they can literally travel through space and time
dimensions rather than conventional three-dimensional space. This suggested that reality itself could be edited using electromagnetic field control. The systematic suppression of teleportation technology appears motivated by its implications for military and economic control. If matter transmission became available, it would eliminate transportation industries.
See, again, money. First one, if they, fuck, it's fucking sick to say, but if they didn't put that invention out, like if they actually got that invention out, the one that cures cancer, there will be no more doctors. If they put out the free energy, there will be no more electricity companies. If they put this out, there will be no more cars, car companies. There will be no more like airports. We wouldn't even need to travel with airplanes. So all of those businesses will be gone. And that is the reason why we don't have it. Because if not, they cannot make money.
make military bases vulnerable to instant attack, and fundamentally alter the...
And that too. Because imagine if that's out in the public, or for other people to know about, like other powerful people, they could, like he said, they could easily infiltrate them, spy on them, attack them, do things that they would never expect, because boom, now they just travel to where you're at. And imagine their own invention being used against them. Yeah, that is the reason why they put it out in the public.
Of global commerce and political power. Conclusion. These 10 erased inventions represent more than lost opportunities for technological progress. They're evidence of a systematic pattern of suppression.
They always try to silence the truth and the people who try to bring a change to the world.
That protects existing power structures by eliminating innovation.
Why? Because it is affecting their profits. If you're messing with their money, if you are messing with their power, their control, they're gonna remove you.
That would fundamentally
whether like we seen taking you out, blackballing you, or throwing you in jail.
Transform human civilization. From Tesla's free energy systems to the Philadelphia experiment's teleportation technology, each breakthrough was eliminated not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. What unites
See what I said?
These suppressed inventions isn't scientific impossibility, but economic and political threat. Free energy would eliminate utility companies. Cancer cures would destroy.
It was becoming too much of a problem or of a threat to all these companies, to all these big people that are trying to control instead of make the people grow. Because if everybody is, like I said, able to access these things, we wouldn't have a lot of companies that are out right now.
Destroy pharmaceutical profits. Anti-gravity would revolutionize transportation and make military aircraft obsolete. Matter transmutation would eliminate scarcity-based economics. Each technology was suppressed because it challenged industries worth trillions of dollars.
Like the one where they could levitate things. That wouldn't even need no machinery, no cranes, no none of that. Because now they just use that to move things around.
The pattern of suppression is consistent across decades and continents. Brilliant inventors create revolutionary technologies, demonstrate their effectiveness to credible witnesses, then face systematic persecution through patent seizure, equipment confiscation, legal harassment, and often mysterious deaths or disappearances. The innovations that could have created a golden age of human prosperity are buried in classified vaults or destroyed entirely. Perhaps most disturbing is what these erased inventions reveal about the nature of technological progress. Innovation isn't limited by scientific possibility, but by economic permission. Breakthrough technologies exist but remain hidden because they
are a threat.
Threaten the profit margins of industries built on artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence. The 10 inventions documented.
That's what I'm saying. Why you think they are giving you guys Teslas to feel like you guys have access to new technology, when in reality it is not even 1% of what they have.
Here represent
even just a taste of what you could have.
Just a fraction of the revolutionary technologies that have been systematically erased from history. In classified facilities worldwide, breakthrough innovations gather dust, while humanity continues to struggle with problems that were solved decades ago by inventors whose work was deemed too dangerous for public knowledge. These erased inventions prove that the world we inhabit isn't the world we could have. It's the world that certain powers have decided we're allowed to have. The technologies that could eliminate poverty cure diseases, provide unlimited clean energy, and
were stopped. Not because they're not good, but because they're too good.
transport us to the stars exist, but they've been locked away to preserve the existing order that benefits from human limitation and dependence. The greatest tragedy isn't that these inventions were lost. It's that they were deliberately hidden, ensuring that human potential remains artificially constrained, while revolutionary solutions to our greatest challenges remain forever just out of reach.
Hey man, this was a great video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this as a video. And if you're watching this live, hit that follow, because we will be reacting to way more videos like this. I know you guys like these conspiracies, these like videos where it shows you things that not a lot of people react to, or not a lot of people talk about. Like, you probably didn't know about these 10 inventions, but thanks to this video, now you know. Now you learned something new, and that is the whole point of these videos, for you guys to learn more about the truth of what's going on in this world that you're living in. But yeah, that was 10 inventions that were erased from history. Again guys, if you enjoy, make sure you hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay blessed.